Hi guys. So I heard an incredible analogy the other day on a podcast that I listen to on a regular basis. It's called The One You Feed. And they were basically talking about mountains and valleys with regards to emotional healing and personal growth. And, they were kind of saying that everybody wants to be on the top of the mountain. Everyone wants the positive emotions and to experience the highs. And not many people want to be down in the valley. And they were saying, don't knock the valley, because ultimately the valley is where the river flows. That's where the power is. That's where the growth occurs. And I thought it was such an incredible way to look at the process of emotional healing, because emotional healing is a difficult process. It's challenging and it can really hurt. I mean, you're looking at pain from your past that may have sat unresolved for a lifetime, that you've been running from for a lifetime. And then you have to start challenging your safety blankets, your coping mechanisms, your way of dealing with pain, your thoughts and your behaviors. And you can kind of feel such a resistance towards it. And I often say to clients that you should expect to go to at least 8 to 10 sessions before you actually begin to experience the real kind of eureka moments, because it takes time. As I said, the brain tends to want to stick with the way it has learned to process things, because our brain has this uncanny ability to delete, distort, and to generalize. And that's the way it kind of helps us to survive. So oftentimes, if we've had something bad happen in our past, we tend to generalize that that's the way the world is, and we kind of see other people's behaviors as indicative of the same past experience. And that can be a really painful way of going about life, because it makes it really difficult to have meaningful relationships and to trust other people. So it can be really painful challenging all of those thoughts, challenging all of those behaviors. That being said, just because we find it really uncomfortable sitting with our negative emotions, that doesn't mean we shouldn't explore them. I mean, ultimately, when you're able to experience real sadness, real anger, you're also then able to fully experience joy, fully experience happiness. But I think oftentimes we almost judge ourselves when we feel bad, and I talk about it even from my experience of motherhood. There'll be days when I'll feel so sad and stressed out and overwhelmed, and then I'll come up with, I shouldn't be feeling like this, and it's a double whammy. You're just beating yourself up when you're already down. Whereas if you can find compassion for yourself, where if you can be a little bit lenient with yourself, things will be a lot better. That being said, when you're working through the emotional process, you simultaneously need to be challenging your thoughts, your behaviors, your coping mechanisms. It's not enough just to recognize the emotion. You have to change the behavior, and this can be really hard because we tend to ruminate on things quite a bit and overthink it and try to analyze it, and that can just bring us down a very winded path. Oftentimes we have to act ourselves into thinking a certain way, as opposed to waiting to think ourselves into action. So it's about regulating your behaviors, regulating your thoughts, and looking at your addictive behaviors. And when we think of addictions, we often think of things like alcohol, we think of drug addiction. However, there's so many ways in which we deal with emotional pain. I mean, we lash out sometimes to other people. We numb out using food, or our phones, or whatever it is that comes handy to us. And we can become highly reliant on these ways of dealing with emotions. So it's about finding better ways to challenge your behaviors and challenge your thoughts. And the incredible thing when you start challenging some of your automatic negative thoughts, your distorted ways of thinking, how you're actually able to turn those thoughts completely on their head. Oftentimes I hear clients talk to me about, they all think I'm an idiot, or, he doesn't love me, or she doesn't love me, or they're going to leave me, and oftentimes when you look at that thought and examine it a little bit closer, you'll find that, it's not actually true. I mean, you have absolutely no proof, you have no way of stating that it is absolutely true. And in fact, oftentimes you can turn that thought inward and ask, okay, is there a possibility that you think you're an idiot, or that you don't love yourself, or that you don't show up for yourself, you're going to leave yourself? And oftentimes that's the source of a lot of our negative thoughts about, other people. It's ultimately what we think about ourselves. If you would like to work with me on dealing with emotional pain from the past, or on any mental or emotional health issue, please get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamentals.ie. You'll also catch me on Instagram and Facebook. I do regular content on YouTube, so go check it out. Like, share and subscribe, and let me know what you think. I'd really love if you could give me any ideas or any content that you would like to see me discuss. More than happy to do so, so get in touch with me. And I also do a regular podcast with the fabulous Neil O'Brien. It's called Touchy and Feely. It's available on iTunes and Spotify, so go check it out. Like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think.